What's up, YouTube? So this video was supposed to be about what you see down here peeking out a little bit. We have the exhaust for our Beetle, but as you can also see, the garage is completely cleaned out, which for some people that may be a good news kind of situation, but for us it's definitely bad news. If you've been a follower of our channel for the past year or so since we've been making videos, you probably are curious how I get around, because really all I have is an expensive paperweight as of now. So what I'm going to show you is my daily and the current issue we have that we need to get fixed so I can get to work tomorrow. So what you see here is our 2009 P71 Crown Victoria. It was originally a police cruiser, which I got on auction on eBay, and it's been my daily driver for about the last almost 2 years now, and it's been pretty reliable until just the other day. I came out of my office at the end of the day for work, and there was a giant puddle of coolant on the ground. So what we're going to do now, which I already diagnosed what the problem is, it's a pretty common one, it's not really a serious issue, but we're going to go through real quick and show you what went wrong and how to fix it. So like I was saying, got out to the parking lot, saw that there was a huge puddle of coolant under my car. I knew there was a problem. So luckily I live very close to my office. I was able to dogleg it home. I just drove it carefully. The car didn't even get up to temperature, which is a good thing in this situation because we definitely don't want overheating. There was still coolant in the system, and a small amount had leaked out, but definitely a noticeable amount. So got it home. We traced back the problem to the water pump, which is actually good news because generally, finding coolant on the ground could be a lot of problems, whether it's head gasket, cracked block, maybe something less crazy like a cracked radiator, leaking hoses. But these Ford water pumps are actually interesting because they have, this is the new one, they have this weep hole right here on the bottom, and when they fail, the coolant actually leaks from it. And I mean, I don't really know the exact purpose or intention of that, but what I do know is it is almost good news in a way, because you find out that you have a failed water pump by coolant leaking rather than your motor overheating, as long as you keep an eye on everything. So luckily this is a pretty easy swap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through how first what we'll have to do is drain the coolant, which is pretty straightforward, pretty boring. And then I'll show you how we take off the belt, remove the water pump, and put the new one on and bleed the system.
Perfect.
So now we have the coolant draining. So once that's done, we'll actually start removing the water pump. Alright, so we're going to start. Now we've drained the coolant. I still just have the system open. with the drain pan underneath. And we're going to start by removing the pulley, because everything I've seen, and I've never done this before, but everything I've seen has said to remove the pulley with the belt still on because it keeps it from spinning. So that's where we'll start. And now all the pulley bolts are loose. Before we take them off, we're going to actually loosen the belt now. So you actually use a 3/8 ratchet, or 3/8 drive, or you could use a belt removal tool. And we'll use this to relieve the tension so that we can actually get the belt off. And now we're finished removing those bolts, and take the pulley off. And now that the bolts are out, we should be able to remove the pulley. Might need a little whack with a hammer to loosen it up. Nice. Alright, so now that we have the pulley removed, the last step is to remove the physical water pump. And I think we do that with a 13mm. So at this point, the water pump's just being a little stubborn, not coming out, but we'll get it. Just gonna take a little bit of work with the hammer and a little pulling and a little bit of luck. Alright, so I got a little distracted there for a second, I wasn't recording, but using our pry bar here and the hammer, we wedged it in here and we're able to get it free. We left one bolt in, so we just didn't send this into the radiator fan. So we'll take that last bolt out and the water pump will come right out. Then we'll clean up where any old coolant is, any old grime, and then we'll put the new water pump in and we'll be all set. Top off the coolant and good to go. Alright, so now we just need to kind of clean up any of the sealing surfaces. There's not much sealing surfaces, but just clean up anything with our Brillo pad, Scotch-Brite, just real light. And then we will add sealant to the O-ring of the new water pump, reinstall, and fill everything up. getting pretty close to the end on this. Our next thing to do is fill up all the coolant and let it run with the heat on so that we can bleed it out for any air bubbles. What you saw was me put the pump back on, put the pulley back on, and then I actually reused the belt, which I would not suggest other people to do. This one's in fine shape. I'm still going to replace it, but just because of time and because I need this car to get to work, we're going to run it on the old pump until the new pump comes in. Run on the old belt until the new belt comes in a couple days. But that won't affect anything as far as bleeding the system or anything like that. And just as a side note, this is a really easy water pump replacement. Most of my experiences with Subarus and the water pump is in the timing belt loop, whereas on here, this is a pretty pain-free water pump replacement. It's about the same as doing like an alternator or anything like that, so pretty easy. So now what we'll do is we'll fill up the system, we'll start the car, bleed it as best we can, and check and make sure there are any leaks, and then we should be able to call this one done. Alright, so we got this pretty much topped off. So now what we'll do, this is sewn loosely, what we'll do is we'll start the car up, let it get up to temperature, kind of like massage the hoses to see if we get any air bubbles moving through. You can kind of hear it sloshing even now, so there's definitely still air in the system. So yeah, we'll start the car with the heat on, get all the coolant circulating through, and hopefully get all the bubbles out, and we will be done with this water pump job. Alright, so as you can tell, we got the car back on the road. We got it up to temperature, we bled it for any air bubbles. Everything seems to be great, so honestly that was a pretty easy job, and like I was saying, especially compared to something like a Subaru or some of the imports, doing the water pump wasn't that difficult. So I'm really happy that it wasn't anything crazy that why we found coolant leaking, and now I can just get it back on the road and let it rip. So now that you've seen my Crown Vic, which we've named the Man, so now that you've seen the Man, please let me know if you guys want to see any more content regarding that. I'd like to do some upgrades to it. Obviously, we were really caught up in the Beetle project, but let me know what you guys think about seeing a Crown Victoria on the channel. So with that, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe for more content, and I hope to see you again soon.